everybody, I'm back again for you, grade 12 with settlement geography. Before we start, hit the subscription button, like and share the video, and let's get started with settlement geography video. So let's get started. Settlement geography, one of the topics that are a bit simpler, where you can collect as much marks as possible. Now, when we are looking at settlement geography, what are we basically looking at? When we look at settlement geography, first of all, we need to know what is a settlement. If you remember in grade 9, you did look at what a settlement is. Basically, a settlement is a place where people live. The function of a settlement is why it is built. And we have different types of settlements and different types of functions. When we refer to a site of a settlement, basically we are referring to the ground on where the settlement is actually built. And we also refer to settlement patterns. Are they arranged? Are they nucleated? Are they dispersed? Or are they more in a linear shape? Elaboration of that will come further. So when we look at settlement geography, we have two types of settlements that we look at. Look at the rural, the farm, the countryside, the rural settlement geography. Urban, town, city. Urban areas or urban settlements, basically we are looking at our towns and our cities, as you can see in the diagrams there. Our urban areas tend to be multifunctional. Our rural areas tend to be unifunctional. Now, unifunctional, what does it mean? It means that the settlement basically concentrates on one function. For example, in our in our rural settlements, we have mainly primary activities taking place there, which are basically extraction of raw materials from the earth. And most of the main primary function in our urban settlements is basically farming. Though we know that fishing, forestry, mining, hunting, and quarrying are also primary activities that can also take place. And as a result, you'd find that our rural settlement, they mainly consist of farmsteads, hamlets, and villages. In comparison to our urban settlements, they are unifunctional. They've got many functions, meaning that they concentrate on economic functions like secondary activities. Please mind the S there. The manufacture of raw materials to usable goods, tertiary activities, provision of services and goods, and quaternary services. Basically, we are concerned with research. So you find that in our urban areas, we mainly have town, cities, metropolis, and they are usually nucleated, meaning that they are usually close together. And whereas in the countryside, the settlements can be dispersed, they can be far apart from each other, or they can be nucleated, meaning that they can be crowded in a certain place. Now, what is the land use in rural settlements? Now, I'm sure you can actually see the land use of rural settlements. Rural settlements, if we see from the diagram there, they are mainly concerned with farming. What type of farming? Basically subsistence farming, where farmer grows for his own family and using traditional methods and planting a variety of crops. And because they mainly farm for family consumption, they don't contribute to the economy. Now, the part of the countryside also with regards to farming can also engage in commercial farming, which is basically farming for profit, where we grow crops for profit. But we use a lot of capital and a lot of money. And most of the time, it concentrates on growing one main cash crop, which leads to what we call monoculture. We use modern machinery and farming methods, and as a result, farming can be intensive or extensive. Now, what is extensive and intensive farming? Intensive farming is available when a piece of land is used and then there is high yield that can be produced and someone can get a lot of profit there. Extensive farming uses large tracts of land. Yield per hectare is very low and occurs especially in less fertile land. So these are basically some of the activities that occur on our rural areas. What is a commercial farm? Commercial farm, as I said, this is what a commercial farm looks like when you grow a cash crop for sale. Site and situation of a settlement. These influence where the settlement is built. This is a must for you to know. Site basically describes the point at which a settlement is located, and it describes the land where it is built on. So factors basically that will affect site of a settlement is the relief, that's the nature of the slope, is it gentle or is it steep? The type of soil, is there water available for us and resources available for that settlement? Situation describes where settlement is located in relation to its surroundings, the features that are around. Mountains, rivers, for example, if I talk about Hicks River settlement, I'm talking about a settlement obviously close to a river. So that would be a site and situation of a settlement. So this is more elaboration. The site is the actual location of the settlement on the earth, and it is composed of physical characteristics, land use and specific area, and include factors like availability of soil, as you can see in the diagram. Please take note, grade 12's site of a settlement can also be part of your theory. It can also be part of your map work geography. This is an example of a site. If you see the settlements are here located there at 3, there's also a settlement there. What would be the influences there? Obviously, influences, as you can see, is basically availability of water. And this site, obviously, it shows also that there is flat land available and transport routes. What are the factors that affect site of a settlement? There are so many factors. Factors can be economy. If you look at economy, it can be markets, it can be availability of ports, commercial routes. These can also influence. Factors, obviously, climate. We look at dry point settlements, wet point settlements, drainage issues, availability of water, as we said. Traditional hills. If you remember, a long time ago, people used to locate along hill, on top of hills for their protection, so that they could see the enemy as they could approach. Physical factors, water supply, resources, availability of soil fertility, they also influence the site of a location. Now, how does site and situation affect location of rural settlements? In our rural settlements, these are the factors that are mainly concerned. They need water for agricultural use. They need water for domestic purposes. They also need water to build their own houses for building purposes. Site should also be on flat ground for easy construction. They must be grazing land for their pastures, for their animals. And soil must be fertile because they need to farm. And availability of energy, because availability of energy in the form of food, most of them have not yet been electrified, so they depend on wood for their survival. Situation, this is an example of a situation. It is a port city with easy access to surrounding ports. So it's basically a settlement that is located close to a port. So it's a situation with regards to, it's a settlement located with regards to its surroundings. And as I have said that, I said a settlement is defined as location of a place relative to its surroundings. Factors include, obviously, connection to one another, factors that are related to one another, how close to an area, availability of raw materials, and also the site itself. So the site and the situation, the surrounding environment. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. So the lesson for today was basically looking at definition of settlement, site of a settlement, situation of a settlement. These are some questions that you it is easy for you to collect as much marks as possible. Please share and like the video and hit the subscribe button. I'll be coming to you next with more on settlement geography. Thank you and enjoy your day. Bye.